And a bit faster. Hey drummers, how's it going? It's Alex once again, bringing you some more fun-free drumming ideas. For this week, I've got a cracker of a lesson for you. It's 4 measures long, although 1 and 3 are exactly the same. It's fairly syncopated. There's a lot of sort of displacing the back beats. So the snare drum is not really landing on beats 2 and 4. It does a tiny bit, but not a lot over the course of the 4 bars. But the main thing is we're going to be exploring like the effectiveness of just switching between the body of the ride and the bell. So the bell's going to be like clanging away on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all the ands on the main body of the ride. And when you've got that playing in relation to this cool little syncopated sort of melodic pattern using the snare, the toms, we've got a tiny little fill at the end. You can see how effective it is. It's going to make it sound so much more complicated than it actually is. Although it's still quite tricky to play. Anyway, if you like what you saw in the intro and you want to give this bad boy a crack, stick around and I'll break it down. Here we go. All right, so I think the best way to go about this is just to look at the sort of sticking pattern between the kick snare and the hi-hat, get comfortable with that, then we'll move it to the ride cymbal. We'll look at measure 1 first, then measure 2, see if we can get those playing back round, and then measure 3 is the same as 1, and then 4 is kind of like a little response, so like an alternative ending. So we'll go for it piece by piece. All right, so let's dive into measure 1. Now the best way to approach this is to think of it as 2 groups of 6. We'll look at the sticking for the first group of 6, the second group of 6 is exactly the same, and then we've got like a nice little response or a little ending which are going to wrap things up so it fits the bar nicely. What we've got is, there's some ghost notes in there. I'll just play it first. We're going to get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're counting it 1 E and up 2 E. So it goes up to the E of beat 2. Once you get that pattern down, we're just going to sort of repeat that again. So let's go over it. We've got a bass drum and a hi-hat. Cheeky ghosty on the E of beat 1. Right hand on the and of beat 1. And then we're cracking on the of beat 1. So we get this 1 E and and then for beat 2 and the E of beat 2, we've got 2 E. So we're going to get this 1 E and 2 E. All right, so once you can play that little figure of 6, it's then time to start looping it. And for the actual groove itself, you've only got to play it twice. But because this starts off with a bass drum and a hi-hat and then ends with that lonely kick, you're always going to get that boom boom to gaga boom boom to ga, that sort of sound. I'll play it for you. And in regards to what your left hand's doing, it's always going to be ghosty, crack it, ghosty, crack it. So after that kick, boom, boom, ghosty, crack, boom, boom, ghosty, crack, is the sound you're after. All right, so once you can start looping that little pattern of 6 rounds, by the time you've done it twice, you've got 12 out of 16 notes sorted. So essentially where we're going to go from now is going to be beat 4. And all we get is this bass drum and hi-hat, little ghosty, crack the snare and the hi-hat for the and of beat 4, and then we've got that other kick on the out of beat 4, which will then lead us round into the next part. So let's just play beat 4, 4 E and So you get that boom, tap, whack, and then a kick afterwards. Now, if we add that beat 4 to the 2 groups of 6, we should end up with I'm going to try and count it. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. I practiced that a lot earlier and it didn't go as well as that, so yes! Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop up there, demonstrate it from a bird's eye view, then I'm just going to chuck my right hand over to the ride and play it the same. Okay, because you want to get this groove down because this is the one that's going to pop up the most. So again, let's pop up there, nice and slow, between kick snare and hi-hat, and I'm just going to shift my right hand to the ride cymbal. Alright, here we go. Measure 1, nice and slow, just on the hi-hat. Let's move over to the ride a little bit. once you can do that, you can get your right hand on the ride cymbal, you've got the pattern down. Now start sort of like playing around with getting that bell on beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. So all we're doing, shoulder of a stick on the side of the bell. And you're just counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'll go through this slowly quickly down here before we pop up there again, just so you can hear that having this bell brings everything to life a little bit more, because it's going to sort of interplay with some of these more syncopated notes around on the snare. So here we go. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll play normally and then I'll add them, because then you can hear the impact. Alright, it has a really cool effect. It just elevates the groove into sounding like less intermediate and more advanced. And it's just one little trick. But it's not easy. But once you get it down, then you've kind of got it for life. So give that one a go. Let's pop up there and I'll just demonstrate this groove from a different angle with that bell action. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so moving on to measure 2. This one is a little bit more loud and proud. We've got one ghost note, which is going to be the first note you can play with your left hand. I'll quickly play it. Now the reason why we're playing these notes a little bit louder here is because we're going to chuck those onto the toms in a second. So if we look at the sticking, beat 1 is the same as beat 1 from measure 1. So we've got this 1, E and for beat 1. So that's kick and right hand, left, right, left. Beat 2 is going to be 2, E and don't forget your right hand is always going to be on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so it's just the placements of the kick and the snare you've got to get down. So beat 2 was 2, E, and beat 3 is going to be a right, left, right kick. 3, E and right, left, right kick. And then beat 4 is going to be together with the hands, kick on its own, and then together with the hands, and then another slap to the left. So you get this. If we put it all together. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll pop up there, I'll explain it, I'll play it nice and slow so you can see it from a different angle and you don't have me talking over the top of it. And then we'll look where we're going to start placing some of these big snare hits on the toms. And we have to move to the right for that one because it's really hard doing all this. Can be done, but it's much easier here. Here we go. Measure 2, nice and slow, kick, snare and hi-hat. Alright, so now we've got the sticking down, let's have a look at the voicing, and for this one, we're going to bring in a lot of toms. So you're going to start off, beat 1's going to be on the snare, so we're going to keep it nice and chilled there. The first tom's going to come in on the up of beat 2. So if we looked at beat 2, it was right, kick, together, left. And that's where we're going to send that left hand up to the high tom. Keep it sort of hovering in that area, because when we get to beat 3, we're going to get this. So we got... So, in fact, let's just isolate beat 3. Beat 3 is going to be right, left, right, kick. So if we go up to where we got so far. Alright, and then we've just got beat 4 to go. And beat 4, we're going to hit the snare drum on beat 4, and then we're going to play the last 2 remaining notes on the toms. So we get this. So, all together. So the pattern is exactly the same, just using the high tom on the up of beat 2, the E of beat 3, and then the and on the out of beat 4. All right, left hand does all the work, right hand's going to stay up there because that's got a job to do in a second. Let's just pop up there, see what this sounds like on the ride cymbal with the toms, and then we'll get some bell action going. Here we go. Alright, so we're moving our hands around the toms. Our right hand is now going to sort of fulfill its role of clanging that bell on beat 1, beat 2, beat 3 and beat 4, and all the hands back on the body. And again, this is going to bring this to life because this little bell note is going to keep it locked down on the pulse, but you've got all these cool little melodic or syncopated notes popping around the snare and the toms. So normally without it, the key with this one is just to go slow and then just work out where the bell was going to land in relation to the pattern you've been playing with your hands, and then you'll start sort of piecing together like your own little melody, and if you can hook onto that, then it will start to make sense. But be careful, because I have slapped the knuckle of my thumb so many times going from high tom to floor tom while sort of shifting my right hand between the bell and the body. It does happen and it bloody hurts. All right, so let's go up there and do this bit. All right, here we go. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is now going to take measures 1 and measures 2 and then just loop those around with everything. So we've got the bell of the ride going on throughout. We're going to have the left hand sort of moving around the kit, especially in measure 2, to get those toms in there, and keep looping it until it starts feeling comfortable, and then we'll have a look at measure 4, which has just got like a nice little feel for an ending. Alright, so measures 1 and 2, off the ride, bit of bell action, get the toms in there, all in, here we go, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go a bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so measure 4 is a bit of a gratuitous venture from the groove. Like, you don't have to necessarily play this, it works quite nice on its own, but sometimes it's nice just to put that little bit of something else just at the end, because I like a little bit of variation when I'm playing. So I'll just play it for you. So if we break things down, beat 1 is the same as measure 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're then going to sort of like carry on. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to play bell, kick, then right, left kick, and then 4 notes to finish things off. So we're going to get 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. So it's not going to be too hard to break this down. So we've got right, left, kick. Just shift this pattern down to here. Right, left, kick. You're now on beat 4. A nice little comfort zone, snare, high, floor, kick, crash. You can loop this round. Let's try it. I was supposed to loop it round. Okay, you've also got the option you can open that hi-hat as well. And you can even clack the rim if you want to. Okay, so that is measure 4. I'll go through that nice and slowly, up there. I'll loop it round up there, and it's time to just put everything together. So here we go. All right, so measure 4, nice and slow. And again. Let's loop round measure 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. right, so now we've smashed our way through each individual measure. Concentrate mainly on like bars 1 and 2. Get that looping round. Like I said, bar 4 is just like a nice little embellishment that you can do just to sort of like spice things up a tiny bit. It's not essential, you can totally fill that in with whatever you like. And again, you can play around with the voices and the pattern. The main thing was just to highlight the concept of, you know, if you're in a situation where you're writing a song with a band and you want to come up with an interesting drum part and, you know, you're following maybe the bass line or the guitar line, and it's not sort of that standard boom, you can feel the snares and, you know, the downbeats and the backbeats from slightly odd places. Once you get that pattern down, just experiment by getting the bell, like sort of highlighting beats 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'll see it will just bring things to life a little bit more and make things a bit more exciting. So I'm just going to play it once here, and then I'll pop up there, demonstrate it at a few different speeds, and then I will let you crack on with your day. So here we go, nice and slow from here. See the level of concentration, because it was real. All right, so let's pop up there. I'll smash it out a few different speeds, and then I'll come and say goodbye. All right, here we go. Right, all together, nice and slow. I'll just go around twice because it's quite long. So yeah, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, let's crank it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a bit faster. All right, drummers, so there it is. I hope you enjoyed that one. It's a real fun one to play. Definitely not easy, although it does sound more complicated than it actually is when you start getting that bell, sort of like keeping things in that nice 4/4 pulse. But if you want the sheet music, there's a link which will take you to my website. You can go and download that for free. While you're over there, check it out. Like for £5, you get access to everything I've ever put up there, and that means probably like an extra 50 or 60 lessons. So I mean, it's pretty good value. I think it works at about 10p per lesson. And there's some bangers in there, some really good ones. If you look at my Instagram, I always post what's going up on the website. So you can check that out. It's Alex_drums Ribchester on Instagram. I'll put a link to that as well. But that'll just give you a heads up. So if you see things on there that you like, that you haven't seen on my channel, it's definitely on the website, and again there'll be sheet music, explanations, tutorials about how to play all those sort of things. So thanks again for watching. Hit that like if you did like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to be notified every time a new lesson comes out, hit that little bell icon. And in the meantime, take care, keep drumming, and I'll see you very soon for some more fun free drumming ideas. All right, catch you later guys, bye.